Alright guys, Tactical here back again today. Hope you're all enjoying your Thursday. Today I wanted to go back to Douglas Censor Martin. Yesterday he played in his first scrim with the New York Subliners team that he has been on the bench on for a long time. People are thinking, is he a content creator? Does he actually have aspirations to play? He certainly does. He's been putting a lot of his time into that, and he made a video yesterday of one of the maps from the scrim. I will show you a clip from it very briefly here in a couple of minutes time. But has he done enough to earn himself a spot on the starting lineup here? Of course, we don't know how the rest of the season is going to go in terms of how much is going to be online, how much is going to be on LAN. Is there even going to be a champs at all at the end of the season, which might be on LAN if things clear up by then, right? But we know that all of the rest of the home series events have been cancelled. It's going to be online. We have no news yet at all. Talking on Spitfire yesterday, like, it's a really horrible situation for those guys at the CDL to decide exactly what happens here. So many difficult circumstances for sure all around. Who knows when this stuff's going to end? How do you plan for all the contingencies? But regardless, we are going to get some sort of online league that happens probably, whether it's tournament style or league style. Hopefully we get announcements over the next week or so. So it remains to be seen when they even need to start playing. But if there was to be a tournament, say in a few days time, let's say it was, not this coming weekend, but the next coming weekend, and the New York Subliners are playing, who do they bring in? Do they use Doug on the starting roster? That's the question. Has he done enough? Has he proved himself enough? Difficult to do that, of course, over the only couple of scrims they played last night. But, the fact that he's worked up to the point of actually getting to scrim with this team says something to start with. And a lot of players on the Atlanta FaZe team that they lost to in the scrim count, but, they did win a couple of decent maps here and there. They were giving Doug a lot of praise on Twitter. So, like, if you guys enjoyed the video, subscribe if you're new as always, I would greatly appreciate it. First of all, a couple of other things. Byron Linney played on the Sicario team of last season at Champs with Chino and Tommy, I think. He says contract is official. Who knows exactly where he's going to end up. Thanks to Jack for pointing that out to me. And Colton says Pristini is still not playing with the Florida Mutineers, of course. So, Ferro is still scrimming with them. So, Morks is still playing in the starting lineup. I did think that when Pristini comes back, Morks is probably the one that has to go to the bench. Similar situation with London, really, where you've got two main ARs on that team, Rated and Wiskin. Got two main ARs here, really, with Morks and Skies in a 1 AR meta most of the time. So I imagine that change may well happen when Pristini comes back to playing, but due to mental health problems, he decided to step away pre the Los Angeles event. So this is what Douglas Censor Martin comes out and says: Subliners gave me the call to come and get some practice with the starting roster, and we played up against FaZe. I also heard that they might have been playing Dallas either before or after this series, so didn't really hear anything about that one. Maybe that scrim set didn't go so well, but if there's two scrims that are going to be the hardest possible scrims you're going to have in an online environment, it's going to be FaZe and it's going to be Dallas. So let's play the clip.
Let's go ammo Tom. Let's go ammo Tom here. I need a hill, Tom. Tom, I'm going to climb over.
Hey, front, watch out.
I'll climb over with you, fuck it.
Fuck it, bro. Let's go.
Fuck it, come on.
Dead. Back right, Tom.
Oh, I lit you up.
Nice, Tom. Good job. Let's go, baby. Forward. I spawned in the back.
No, push out.
Tom mid on me.
Time it a week, Preston.
Dead.
Link in your alley, Don. Oh my god.
Bottom mid of BC dead. I got two.
Shit.
Front ammo weak.
Let me front heavy guys.
Yeah. A&D Preston dead. I got him.
You going through, Doug?
He's bottom mid. He's top mid or bottom mid? Top mid or bottom mid?
I got him, Doug. I killed him. I don't want your side, dude.
Pillars dead. I got him. One more bottom mid, Preston. Left bottom mid, Mac. Nice, good job. Go.
Okay.
I spawned here. Let's go.
Yeah,
Push through BS&D. Push through BS&D with Mac. I'm here with you, Mac. Dead. Good job. Maybe one more. Nice. I'm here with you, Mac. I'm here. Let's go. I got him. I have 7 bullets. He's my front, guys. My side dead, I got him.
So some pretty good stuff from Doug overall. He seems to be playing pretty decent. One of the things Lando was talking about yesterday on Spitfire, and I definitely think this is a really good point, is that if you're going to be an objective player and that's your role on the team, you need to be really, really fast paced, because Doug, I suppose, comes from an era of Call of Duty a few years ago when the game didn't play as fast as it did, and you could be the fastest objective player on your team at playing at the pace Doug does, but he's not the fastest player in the game by any means. And if you're going to be the OBJ, the bait, and this kind of player, you can't really be the third guy out, right? You need to be the fastest guy on the team. So I think Doug's been, doing bits to to try and help his game improve and get quicker, but he's still not necessarily quite there yet. So, and of course, as an individual, talented, and when we look at it through that lens, there's other players, of course, that are more talented than Doug, but he's one of the hardest working guys, to be honest, and he's proved it time and time again. He's tried to do his best to get into this spot, and you got to respect it. So this was the scoreboard at the end of the map. Doug goes 19 in something, Tempest 27 kills. So this was the team they were scrimming with, just to make that clear. These were the results, of course. They played up against the Atlanta FaZe team. Now, they did end up losing this scrim set, I think, 6-2. So, kind of, I guess, what you'd expect from this team right now. But still pretty good overall. At least decent practice, right? So Doug goes, 19 kills, 1 minute 18 in the hill. Attached slightly below him, Zoom obviously up here, Mac and Temp. So accuracy out of the team, and Temp taking the spot as the main assault rifle. This is interesting, and to be honest, I like this change in theory, because you need to make this team fast-paced. At the end of the day, all the teams right now are trying to move in a direction of being quicker, and having 4 SMGs on the map and running at people. Zuma and Max seem to be pretty damn good at doing that. Attach has always kind of been a slower player anyway, to be honest, even when he has been using an SMG. So it makes sense for Censor to come in here, and Temp could be a fast player as well on the assault rifle. So you could even get a really, really fast-paced team here, and Attach can kind of be, lurking around and playing that kind of role. So accuracy, an interesting player to swap out here. Is this the move? Honestly, I cannot see this being a bad move at all. Question remains, do you bring Zero back into this team? Because now I think he did a tweet that said, I think Intel Call of Duty Crone over there replied to Doug's tweet saying like, did Zero get an opportunity, right? And Zero was like, nah, no chance. So interesting, because accuracy comes up and says, oh, we need to give all our subs all these reps, but Zero's saying, I didn't actually get an opportunity. At least that's what he was implying. Question remains, if this team is the one you stick with, and I think Zuma, Mac, Temp, and Attach is kind of a nice quartet. Question is, do you have Temp run the assault rifle and Censor on the sub? Do you bring Temp into a more aggressive role and maybe put Zero on the AR? Or do you keep Temp as an AR and have Zero as a sub? Because he's kind of done that before and played a somewhat aggressive SMG role. He's had success with that in the past. In my opinion, maybe it makes more sense to have Zero as the AR and have Temp, play a little bit more faster paced. But that's if you're going to, not get Censor and take Censor out of the team. And as Zero said, maybe there's a thought on this team towards, well, we need to have a player who's willing to give away their life and do what it takes to win. And since I guess is that guy, so that's why I kind of think he deserves at least a shot in this team. Of course, your question below is, has he done enough, right? If they were to have a tournament next weekend, would they bring him in? I kind of doubt it, but, who knows, right? So some discussion around this on Reddit. Map count was 6-2 to FaZe for those wondering. Kind of like this quote here, I've never actually heard this before. Talent sets the floor, character sets the ceiling. So, I definitely think there are some pros that, especially given all the bank that they are making this season with the money that's flying around in esports right now more generally, people like Doug are putting in way more work, and it seems to be paying off to some degree, right? And you got to respect it. So, some more discussion here. How did Doug do? Only map that was available to watch. It wasn't streamed, unfortunately. So, we didn't get to see anything about that. Been saying accuracy is the problem, which is an interesting point. Is that a valid criticism? Accuracy hasn't been playing, I don't think, terribly in terms of pure statistics. But as this next comment implies here, so, has accuracy had a good event since World War II champs? It's difficult to say, right? And of course, the Splice team last season, he ends up getting dropped from that as well. Wasn't necessarily performing the best in that assault rifle role, even though in World War II he was obviously a fantastic player. So this is what Josh Provence says here. Let Zero run the main AR, let Temp get back to an MP5. Way better than Doug Jetski Martin. And, I don't disagree. Like, as much as I would like to see Doug get a shot in this team, I think he can definitely bring something to the table. Is that the best option given their substitute bench? And I can definitely see that some of the players on the New York Subliners team are looking at the situation and are thinking, well, is Doug the best option? We've given him the chance and we've shown the management that we're willing to give him a chance, but is that the long-term solution? Who knows? And, well, if Zero actually does get an option to come back into the team, I imagine he is the go-to pick. But in terms of vibes, maybe they didn't really get on with him. Does he even want to come back into the team? Does he have the mental capacity to be like, oh yeah, okay, fair enough. They kicked me out as they did. Didn't even communicate it to our understanding and to a very good way at all. Which is something I'm hearing a fair bit of right now in the COD scene, which isn't good to see, especially with the franchise league. You'd have thought players could be, players and teams could be a little bit more respectful towards the teammates they're trying to drop. But regardless, you've got this from Censor, so yeah, he replies to a lot of people. Priester says you are actually playing really good, no BS, keep grinding, Dougie. Simp says look good today, Doug. You know, Kenny replies to this tweet as well. Crazy what animals on the bench could do given a chance, says Marcat. We have to be undeniable. That was filthy, so talking to Attach, like he's gassing up his boys, like this is what Doug does 101. Building connections, networking in the scene, getting people to gas him up. He knows what he's doing, right? So, intrigued to hear your thoughts down in the comment section below. Do you think Doug deserves this shot on the starting team? As I say, if there was an event coming up this weekend, next weekend, whatever, do you get him in? But is that the best combination of 5 players you could possibly have on the team? We'll have to see how Mac does in the squad as well. But I do feel that, you know, a 2-person change was needed from that initial squad to make these things work. A few other topics then before we finish with, wanted to talk briefly about Warzone, because this has been sweeping the Call of Duty scene right now. I believe Twitch may still be top of, or Call of Duty may still be top of Twitch, which is pretty remarkable to be honest. Like, Call of Duty's been doing insanely well given Warzone dropped. Those of you guys who have played it, I haven't got the opportunity to yet. Well, I haven't the opportunity, just kind of don't want to. Battle Royales aren't really my thing, but a lot of people saying that, you know, they're really, really good, and they enjoy it much better than people were expecting to, which certainly fair enough. Question, of course, is this a good thing for the competitive scene? Because I talked about that way back in like one of the very first videos I ever made, Blackout in the Black Ops 4 season. Like this, you know, was it going to be good for competitive? Was it going to draw people away, or was it going to bring people into Call of Duty? And to be honest, given the current climate, of course, like gaming is probably going to take over for the next couple of months when people don't really have much else to do. Warzone's a key thing, but if people are playing Warzone, do they stumble across like Scump? And one of the cool things here, right, is if you're watching Warzone, like a stream on Twitch, for example, and you see, you know, Puckett and Maven hosting it, 100 Thieves hosting this $100,000 tournament right here, 100k prize pool, 50k to charity, 50k to like unbelievable stuff. And Crimsix says playing in Go Boom TV's Cash App code green. So this is another tournament playing with, you know, Clayster and Karma. Why am I saying Karma? Crimsix. But you get the point, right? The fact that if you're watching on Twitch or wherever you're watching some of these big Warzone tournaments, and you know, casuals having to stumble in the stream and they see these really good professional players playing, they might start watching their streams, they might start watching scrims, they might start being influenced by competitive Call of Duty, which would be a really cool thing to see. And I definitely think it's a possibility. And also, you know, you might be playing the game, you might just happen to stumble across the CDL playlist or whatever they have right now. Not technically league play, but you might stumble across it, right? So should be a good thing for Call of Duty. I'm happy to see it's doing well. More eyes on Call of Duty cannot be bad at all, especially in a difficult time for a lot of esports, because events being cancelled, and Call of Duty especially being a big one of those, because we had so many events planned, and I already went through this tweet as well. Puckett and Maven hosting is a pretty damn cool thing to see. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like if you did, subscribe if you're new as always. I would greatly appreciate it. Be intrigued to hear your thoughts down below. Do you think Doug deserves this spot in the main team? Has he deserved it now? And, you know, has the time come for New York, considered arguably the worst team in the league when they had Happy in at the Los Angeles home series, to make the move on Doug and just, you know, see if he's got his worth in a proper tournament setting? Because he deserves it in terms of the amount of effort he's put in my opinion. Thanks for watching as always. I'll see you next time.